Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Star Trek commentary podcast. Today we're going to do an episode for you, and I am Captain Logan.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Brandon.
And the three of us are going to be talking about and watching Timescape. This is the second to last episode of Season 6. Adam and I argued a little bit about which season it was in.
Yeah.
I thought it was in 7, because it's almost in 7.
Almost 7.
It might as well
but
be
not
in
quite.
7.
And
It
I
should
had
have been
nothing
the
to
first.
say.
It should have been the first episode of 7.
Not Descent? Not
Well, I
Descent
mean,
part 2?
like after that. Not even that. They should have just not resolved that and done Timescape should have somehow been the resolution of that, where like you've got Laurie's taking over the Borg, and all of a sudden everything stops.
Yeah.
And you've got no one can see you doing that.
That's true.
Because I'm no one.
And then suddenly, no one listening right
No,
now.
I know.
Because you're not, clearly.
I'm nobody. I always was.
Anyway, let's get into Timescape. This is an episode I've always really enjoyed. I think it's super fun, and I like the Romulan stuff.
Yes.
And finally doing a little bit with the singularity that was established not
their
too
warp
far
core.
before this
Yeah.
in Face of the Enemy as being the thing that powers their warp core.
Yeah. Which
And-
seems really unsafe to me.
Seems like a really
Seems
bad
a
idea.
bad idea, exactly.
But then the pseudoscience of it is cool.
Yes.
So yeah. So anyway,
Like if it escaped, would it just suck the entire ship inside it or something?
yeah, if it timescaped.
Yeah,
Who
if it
knows?
time.
It's like red matter. Who knows?
So as always, if you have never listened to one of these before, what we do is we provide you a podcast and a commentary simultaneously, so you can watch the episode with us. If you want to listen to this instead, what you doing, right?
Yeah.
Everything good?
Way to go, Adam.
If you want to listen to this instead while you're driving around in your car or pruning your plants, you can listen to this without watching the episode, and we will do our level best to provide a little bit of context and let you know what we're talking about as we go along. Here we go, getting into Timescape, and everybody press play as soon as I say now. Are you guys ready? All right, everybody press play right now.
Oh boy, he fell.
That's a great makeup job. I can tell that that's a very deep cut.
As if it means anything in the future.
Oh, Riker's getting old.
Yeah.
But not as old as he's gonna look
Looking.
in not Pegasus. Okay, Brandon, do you remember this episode yet?
Yes, I do.
Because we had this argument with Brandon earlier where he kept thinking things happen in this episode that don't happen in this
Yeah, he
episode.
named like 3 different episodes that were related to time travel on TNG.
First I talked about one episode,
Oh,
and then I
hey,
stopped
4
talking
different
about that
episodes.
episode.
Hey, Adam, that's foreshadowing. He's talking about a bowl of food. I mean, it didn't say fruit, but...
A phaser.
The dual spot.
I like that we're starting this episode on the Enterprise and not on the shuttlecraft.
Yeah.
Because the majority of, at least for the first act of this, we're going to be on that shuttlecraft for a while, and it feels like any other episode. And so we're building up to when everything gets frozen.
Right.
And I think that's smart. Or if you think everything's a trick.
Yeah, I was going to say the same
Yeah.
thing. He always does.
I feel like they don't acknowledge Worf's opinions enough, though. They always discount him, and he's right. Like,
There's
You're
a
right.
whole video on YouTube dedicated
Yeah.
to that, and it's hilarious.
Yeah,
He
you're
just-
right. They'll immediately be like, "Oh, Worf, you just want to hit everything."
Yeah.
And, although the thing is, if you always say the same thing every time, you're
Yeah.
going to be right a
Stop
certain
clocking.
percentage of the time.
Right.
Right, so maybe you give him some credit.
It's true. But no, what I'm saying is that maybe he doesn't actually deserve any. Because he just always says that.
He always says it.
I wonder why they chose to use the runabout set for this episode.
I always wondered that.
Yeah, and then they show the back, which is... They never, ever show this on Deep Space Nine.
That's really interesting. Yeah, so I guess this isn't a regular shuttlecraft. Like, what is
No, it's
this
huge.
even?
That's
Well-
the runabout.
Well, I guess it is a runabout.
It's just the back. We never see it on Deep Space Nine for some reason. They built the whole set, and then they never used it again.
Whoa. That's weird. I didn't know that.
It's a good-looking ship, though. Craft.
Yeah.
It's irritating because Deanna Troi started seeming like more of like a normal person who was kind of likable by the end, and there's this weird kind of evolution from TNG Troi to movie Troi that you didn't see with anybody else. I mean, everybody else was either kind of themselves or action movie Picard, but there was actually sort of a progression with her. Like when you go look at Voyager, you got movie Troi, and she's genuinely likable there.
It's when they let her start wearing a normal uniform.
Well, when you talk about movie Troy, I always felt like it was the difference between like an episode of Star Trek versus the movie Star Trek. It was way more polished. Her character was way more polished in the movies than it ever was in TNG.
Well, I just mean once we're not worrying about whether or not she's a sex symbol, she can just be a character.
Be herself, exactly. Yeah.
And again, it's kind of like something we talked about in another movie, another video we made earlier, talking about Chakotay, where they kind of just let a little bit more Marina Sirtis in her, I think.
Right.
Or at least what she would have done with that character.
Right.
But anyway.
Maybe there's less micromanaging.
This is all real genuine.
Yeah, this part is a blooper, and they just left it in, I think.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's so natural.
And it's so Patrick Stewart.
It's really funny, and you know, you compare this stuff to what he was like in first season, he's a totally different character. Okay, do you buy this at all, Adam? This business of being able to touch a plasma field and
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe on a holodeck. Yeah, first of all, plasma is superheated gas, and
I just always wondered what exactly he was talking about, because I was like, oh, is it a certain setting where you're able to do that because you're protected or something? Like, what exactly is it? Like, well, you deal with plasma all the time. Why can't you just do that?
Yeah, maybe they have a special device.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
he touched one of those plasma lamps from Spencer's Gifts. That's what I was talking about.
What were you going to say, Brandon?
That's a very interesting scene, how they're so frozen so perfectly, and she's moving around in it. I'm not sure how they filmed it, but I dig it. I like it.
They just had him stop.
I mean, that's what
I think they seem to be... I'm no good at pausing still like that for any sort of time. And,
well, that's why you're not an actor in Star Trek.
Yeah, that's true, but like
there is surprisingly,
really brought it to the table.
There's surprisingly a lot of that in Shrek, though. Right? Like you'll have that a lot with holodeck situations where you'll pause the holodeck and everybody has to stop, and especially what is it a matter of it's not a matter of time, it's not a matter of honor, it's a matter of perspective.
Yes.
They had to do it a lot there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the original series episode, which is the one where they turn all the crew into little cubes.
It's not coming to me right away.
Well, they pause, but their eyes move around.
Yep. Yeah, that was always weird. Yeah, but that's different because
they're like frozen by the device.
Yeah, they're frozen by the device, so that's a paralyzing thing where their eyes aren't paralyzed. That was always clearly on purpose.
You know why they did that with the cubes, don't you? So they didn't have to pay extras that week.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There are situations where even on the holodeck you'll see someone just barely move and they're not perfectly still, but I always felt like that was some sort of superhuman trait. Personally, for me, I don't have the capabilities. What do you guys think about the theme song The Next Generation, just in general? I've always thought it was just a great score, and it really plays to the late 80s, early 90s show that it is.
Makes motion pictures seem like a longer film.
Yeah.
Bum, bum.
It's a thing I kind of wish we could somehow make a tradition out of, where you take a really good theme from a movie and then you make it a TV show theme.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you do it with necessarily. I mean,
they did it with MASH.
There was there was all Star Trek.
So they're the ones that froze, but they scan her first.
So make sure she's not crazy.
Well, they're scanning all of them.
They are, but I just felt like it weird that they show her being scanned first.
Well, they show her being... I feel like you're nitpicking to fill time. That's what I think is maybe going on right now. I don't know. But
I've always found that odd.
You wouldn't do that. Okay.
I've always found that odd.
So this immediately feels like, here's a weird time scenario we've not done yet, right? You know, we've done the moment starts over again, the causality loop thing. As this goes on, especially when you get into like a lot of Brega scripts and stuff, there's a lot of, as we keep making modern Star Trek, we're trying to come up with that crazy time scenario we've not done yet.
Braga, he's always about the crazy anomaly or time. Yeah,
they're fun though, and they get creepy a lot of the time, and I love that about them. But yeah, I love how loose Patrick Stewart is playing Picard now, and that makes him really layered, because when he's relaxed and he's with his friends, and like he's very different than when he's delegating, or not delegating, when he's having to be the diplomat or be in a battle scenario or play verbal poker with somebody over the.
A little more
over
free.
the bridge, and it feels like a real natural progression of these relationships.
Oh.
And I think that's one of the reasons that I've always enjoyed this episode.
All of a sudden, he's right next to her. That's great.
It's a good choice.
Does it seem odd to anyone that the second time that it happens, like the first time it happens, it's everyone but Troy, then the second time it happens, it's just Troy, so that everybody can see it? Why isn't it just a different mix and then someone else sees it that time?
Maybe it had to be where she was sitting.
And they talk about that. I think you just haven't seen this in a while, because they talk about all that stuff. As it continues, you realize that it's an anomaly that
they're moving through, of course. But why wouldn't have it encompassed just her the second time when she's the only one that didn't experience it the first time? I feel like it's more wide-ranging than that, and maybe this time it was Picard who was slightly outside the field, and that everybody else was frozen, so that just one other person could experience it a second time, and then there's sort of some corroboration there rather than everybody having seen it the second time.
I don't know.
You see me,
Adam? Would you agree if I were to say that if you'd done this story in the second or third season, we'd be doing a lot of mood lighting?
Yes, definitely. Especially second season, yeah.
We try to make these kinds of episodes, but even third or fourth, like we try to make these kinds of weird mystery, what is happening to us, anomaly kind of episodes as strange and moody as we can make them.
Yes.
And yet it's still kind of effective. Like, even though we're not doing that, I don't know if it's just this juxtaposition of the bright colors and lighting to the weird situation. I don't know what it is, but it still has that, I think.
This first season, they just did it always. Like, for some reason. I don't know why. Like, the Enterprise was just lit really, really differently during that.
So does anybody know why, when their attitude goes out of control, it seems that their inertial dampers also go out of control?
Because it's dramatic.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best possible explanation.
I mean, if on a TV budget we could make the gravity go out all the time, we'd be doing that too.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I'm sort of expecting to see more of that kind of stuff in the new series, just because we can do a lot. We can make things look better with less money these days. If you really know what you're doing.
Here you go. There's your bowl of fruit.
There's the bowl. See, it was foreshadowed. By the way, I'm kidding when I say that.
Is this when he has
the bowl of fruit thing is genuinely creepy.
Yes, it is. I have to agree.
It's pretty disturbing.
Because you wonder what the heck happened. It's moldy.
Not as creepy as when he gets his fingernails.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah.
We have mold in the future.
That's the part that I'm referring to. It's creepy. Here it comes.
Here it goes.
Oh! God, that would hurt. I guess.
Yeah, your hand starts aging. Holy cow.
Yeah, jeez. So, his fingers, what would you say, had to have just aged about 2 or 3 months?
Yeah.
Like, how long would it take to grow your fingernails that long?
I don't know.
He's got flash fingernails. Those are the fastest growing fingernails alive. Alive. So nobody else touched that, yeah?
Exactly. Oh, wow.
Now.
It's even more decayed. I never noticed how much more decayed it got.
Yeah, that got George Decade pretty.
Just like your hand.
It's exactly the same size as the universe.
So basically where they're standing, some of them are standing in this disturbance when they walked around the table.
It's the size of the Remember Me universe.
Oh boy. So Crusher has something to do with it.
Well, I know I'm really fixated on this, but this, I mean, maybe it was Face of the Enemy, maybe it was here, I forget, but this is that period where I'm finally looking at Troy and going, you finally got her to look right.
Yeah.
Like, the hair looks better, just everything looks, like, normal, and I'm like it's drawing my attention because it's not supposed to be drawing my attention now.
So is Data flying the ship from the back room?
It never occurred to me this was the back room.
Yeah, why are they...
Geordi walked to the front, Data's still in the back.
I don't know what he's doing. He's guiding it away from the anomaly, I think.
He is, but
Okay.
from the rear. Oh boy, we're
Here it
surrounded.
comes. This is just such a neat shot coming up. And, like, I shouldn't be as impressed by it as I am, I guess. But then you think about it, with model work,
Right.
you've got that beam effect.
Yes.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. And then it speeds up.
We're not there yet for anybody who thinks you're not synced up. I'm just
Right.
talking about it before we get there.
And then it speeds up at one point, too. That's really cool.
Yeah. This is clearly one of those very like sci-fi idea plot-driven kind of episodes. We obviously aren't doing a big character arc for anybody right now, but it's one of those fun mystery. How are we going to get out of this kind of situations?
Very carefully. With the ultra-precise calculations of the data computer.
I always like to I always like to see Star Trek take a situation like this and explore somebody through it, but sometimes we don't do that, and I'm just as riveted.
Right.
I'm a character guy, Adam. I always have to bring that up.
Starship
I always have to bring that up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even here we do it a little bit with Picard, and like we see, how he feels, powerless and stuff in this situation because he can't be there with the rest of the crew. He gets
That's
stuck
true.
on
Good
the,
point.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
runabout.
Absolutely.
And seeing Picard out of control and how he doesn't like that is a running motif.
Well, he's genuinely
Throughout
concerned
this.
at this point.
You immediately you harken back to Sarek.
Yeah.
You think about
Yeah.
all the times he's had to, and Chain of Command,
Here we go.
which I want to say is this season.
Look at that.
It just looks really cool.
Yeah.
And part of it is just how surreal that is.
Yes.
I remember the first time I saw this, that being as wild of a thing to look at as the Enterprise exploding at the beginning of Cause and Effect.
Yeah.
Which was the other episode I was thinking of earlier, and consequently mixing.
And you were mixing with parallels.
I was...
Yep, there is no Forcus 3 in this episode. But isn't it just surreal to watch our characters, like, analyzing the situation?
Yeah.
And frozen in time.
Yes! You said decloaked and not uncloaked! I hate uncloaked! Sounds so dumb. Early TNG, Worf will always say, they're uncloaking, sir. Like, that sounds so dumb! I guess there's also this kind of... and we do this a lot with the Romulans in this show, or at least a few times, but this kind of, it's more complicated than they're all evil or they all hate us. This kind of teamwork thing, when we get to the end of... It's not all the Romulans trying to get us.
Right.
So they start talking about some sort of a force field to use to get into the ship. Do they? I'm not remembering if they say exactly where they get the technology to do that from.
I think Data makes it.
We just happen to have
pieces of the ship. Yeah,
we just happen to have those armbands.
Replicate it or something. Oh no, they don't.
No, he's got it, and he says phases. Remember, they just have those.
Yeah, they just happen to be in this vehicle.
That's just a little Power Rangers to me. I don't know.
Convenient.
I like that we don't spend forever with a technobabble explanation as to how they work, though. That's nice. It's like we just have this technology. Here it is. And to be fair, we've done enough phase-shifting stuff in this show, you could maybe buy the science getting there.
Right.
Maybe we've developed that partly because of things like the next phase. Yeah, thanks.
Here we see a space screwdriver.
But I don't know how, as an actor, you don't put those on your arms and feel kind of dopey. I mean, you're wearing the spacesuits, but it's kind of funny.
He says they'd have to be practically skin tight, so why don't you put it on underneath the?
That's an excellent point.
Arm piece. Yeah.
I guess that's practically skin tight. Wouldn't it be better to just make it a collar?
Right. Indeed.
That would look weird.
But, it would look weirder than what we're looking at. I completely agree with you.
Now, there are some sci-fi properties out there who have kind of run with this particular idea and used them as collars.
Yeah.
Most recently, a Rick and Morty episode.
Anybody else think that's a wig?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a modified Romulan wig.
Yeah.
So, with what we were talking about earlier, if anybody thinks these people are not acting, they're wrong. Because some of them are going to do better than others.
There's some scorch marks there. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's scorch marks on the panels, too. I want to know that if time is stopped, how can the electrons flow through the EPS conduits for them to...
It hasn't stopped. They slowed it. Didn't they say
they've slowed it down a lot, but still, you'd think that would be maybe slow. Well, I don't know if
the computers would run slower.
Would they?
Yes. Well,
let me ask you this
though: as electricity moves really fast, but
where do you draw the line though? Because they can take a thing and move it, so why couldn't they do that? Would be my question.
Yeah.
Because things can still.
There are some things here that are inconsistent. And I just don't remember what they are. But...
Well, you could still technically move something faster than, within a time. Even if time's moving slow, you could move something faster. Just to the people who were there, it would appear moving really fast. But electrons only move at a certain speed. You can't move them much faster.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm with you. I'm just not sure I buy that you could actually press buttons and make stuff happen that fast.
Right, exactly. It would take a slow time for the computer to respond because it's running in the slower time period.
I mean, like, they can't use the turbo lifts.
In fact, technically, if you were in a slow time period like this and you touched a console and you were moving, because of your touch would be moving so much faster, you could technically break it.
Every time I see Picard on a ladder, I just want to sing Frere Jacques. Just every time.
I can understand why.
And I want the executive officer in charge of radishes to be there every time.
I was about to say as much as the same thing.
Can't go through them!
Yeah.
There's plenty of them aboard the Enterprise.
Guess we gotta do some more... Picard is in the Jeffries tubes more than anybody in this show. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Like, he's in them in Starship Mine, and he's in them in...
Lessons.
In Lessons, and Disaster, and... Yeah. Oh, God. Well, it could be worse, though. Yeah, she could be stuck in the floor with her arms sticking out.
I just watched that episode.
Is Lessons the one where he's playing the Russian flute?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That guy's committed.
Really creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Here's some darker mood lighting in sickbay, which is not usually so darkly lit.
No, that's normal sickbay lighting.
You think so?
In fact, oh yes. In fact, in second or third season, it's great.
Oh, I know who that actor is, actually.
I feel like
That's her. She's a stunt woman Her name's Patricia Tallman, but she played Lita on Babylon 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She makes a great Romulan.
Well,
though.
I'll get to that later on. Yeah, and
she
they
was
have,
like,
and they by this point in the series really perfected the Romulan makeup. It looks fantastic at this point.
And she gives a great reaction to seeing people actually on board the Enterprise.
It never looks bad. I just really like it by this point. But yeah, this stuff is wonderfully unnerving, and I'm not bored, even though it's just a lot of people walking around trying to figure out what's going on. I mean,
it was Worf's hand.
Because yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, Worf's hand was moving so fast in Worf's time as to have broken it.
What I'm really calling back to what I said earlier about starting on the ship. I like that we start there, but that we don't actually see all this stuff happen and then have our characters have to go see the stuff we've seen already. Because then you have the Genesis problem.
Right.
And it's hard not to compare this to Genesis all the way through, because it is a similar thing where it's people coming back to the ship where everybody's been affected and trying to figure out what's going on. Genesis could have been a point higher of a better episode if we simply started with Data and whoever it was that comes back.
You know what my favorite part of Genesis is? Gates McFadden's acting in that scene when he spits that stuff on her face.
Who was it? Was it just Data and Picard that come back in that?
Yeah, it was Data and Picard. And Data wasn't affected by the...
Naturally,
the
yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't do the stupid naked now thing and try to figure out a way to affect him, even though it wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. I have pores. Wife's good. I completely forgot
I can move
about
the
that.
isolinear chips very
Yeah.
quickly. Would you like to see me move the isolinear chips very quickly?
These are control circuits.
And universe is expanding and expanding.
Oh, here we go.
I really like the idea of this affecting psychology.
Yeah.
Indeed it does.
That's smart, yeah.
But also, Data has a certain visual acuity, doesn't he? Might he be able to detect that with his own
Yeah, sure.
with his own positronic circuits?
Yeah, too bad Geordi's not around here. I mean, like he wasn't with him, because his visor would be really helpful right now potentially. I think it might. Yeah, see, that's real ominous. Like, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah.
It's already happened.
It's moving at a rate that's going to envelop the ship in, as he said, 17 minutes.
We might have another intentional or unintentional foreshadowing thing here with the talk about moving your hand through the plasma.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Here we go.
This isn't plasma, or is it?
That's warp
The
plasma.
cloud, is it?
Well, it's an explosion, a warp explosion, but the plasma.
But what would the cloud itself be
Warp
made out of?
plasma?
Is what? Yeah.
Probably warp
Well, then that
plasma.
might have been
Yeah, that's
intentional.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here it comes.
Here it is. Smiley face.
This is my sister's favorite thing in all of TNG.
The best part, he goes, look.
Why did he do
We've
that?
got so much real Patrick Stewart in this. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
yes, it is.
He's having so much fun.
Uh-oh.
And then his
no.
he's real
Let's
bipolar right here. Right against the window.
Plastic. Yeah.
The plastic window. I like
My head.
I like how the frozen extra behind them is staring right at them.
Yeah.
He's insane,
Patrick
Picard.
Stewart loves playing these kinds of scenes
There are 4 lights!
where he's got one.
Goodness.
Once again, reminded of Sarek. And
Oh, yeah.
of his performance there. And he also has a mood swingy kind of scene. Not mood swingy, but where he's like laughing a lot and then has to cry and stuff in
Chain of Command?
No, I was going to actually say a not Star Trek thing in Christmas Carol.
Oh.
He's got a scene where he does that. Entirely different situation, but he loves playing scenes like that.
I've never seen that.
You
version.
got to. It's my favorite version. I mean, I'm very partial to Patrick Stewart. There are a few really good versions of that.
That's very cool. Now,
Really good adaptations of that
He
story.
was
But
Ahab in Moby Dick.
yeah,
too.
I have not ever watched
I watched that.
I heard it was kind of dull,
It's not
so I
that
never
good,
watched
no.
it. But
It was like a 90s TV movie.
Well, so was Christmas Carol. It was just a good one.
Speaking of other things he's done, though, you might check out Vivaldi's Four Seasons. He reads the poetry in that, and it's very good. Dramatic.
He does a lot of
poetry
reading.
reading.
Yeah.
Somewhere
I really like
recording
his
that.
Peter and the Wolf.
Oh, I didn't know he did
Yeah,
that.
he's got a really good Peter and the Wolf. Yeah, I'm going to stay here because no more plasma smiley faces.
Yeah, it's like maybe the captain
All right.
shouldn't go on
I
away
don't know.
missions.
That's really cool.
My
There's
sister.
motion
Oh, and then
in
they
the
move
shot.
around
Look
it.
at
Yeah, I
this.
mean, that's going above and beyond.
Yeah.
You know, this is an away mission to their own ship.
That's a great point.
Which is kind of don't do that.
And neat that it's not a bottle show.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we already had that standing set in DS9 for the runabout, but the episode feels bigger because we're on 3 different ships. And we've got this nice big room for this Romulan
I think
ship.
originally they greenlit this, I heard, because they thought it wasn't going to cost very much. It wound up being one of the most expensive episodes of the whole season.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Well, it's written
Or
like a
was
bottle
being
show.
one of the more expensive.
Sort
Yeah.
of. Yeah. What I was going to say earlier, just to get this out, is my little sister used to come to Star Trek Club all the time, and anytime she didn't know the answer to a trivia question at the beginning of the club, she would always write plasma smiley face.
Their engine readouts.
So
I
we're
love
about-
getting to
we're
see
about
inside the
15
Romulan
minutes-
ship here.
We're about 15 minutes away from the end of the episode, and starting to get into kind of third act territory. I realize TV's kind of broke up into 5 because of commercials, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And we're starting to really put things together, and you know, I like that it's not. I like that it's not a big reveal right 3 or 4 minutes before the episode ends that it wasn't a Romulan attack, because I think that they're making you kind of suspicious of that from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. So Geordi discovers a panel he can
opens the
open.
door. That's the thing.
Yep, and
Their warp core.
Well, there's your problem right there. So Geordi understands the problem, but Data has to scan it.
Yeah.
it appears to be a tiny pocket dimension to another universe that Ghostbusters type specters come out of.
Indeed.
We better go.
Look out for Slimer.
We better go get our trap and our neutrino ones.
Yeah, whatever that thing was.
Yeah.
The box.
If some
with the door,
ectoplasm shows
the
up,
thing goes down into yeah.
And then we can have an ectoplasmic smiley face.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
nice bit of continuity here. Actually dealing with the tiny singularity that runs Romulan ships. Yeah. I don't understand how in the world you actually manage to contain that and use it. That seems like really advanced technology. Like, I just don't know how the Romulans developed that. That's like it's a really cool idea, but I always question how in the world you put that together. But then I also don't fully understand. Maybe somebody can explain this to me. And we blew up the Enterprise because you have to blow up the Enterprise in an episode like this.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
And then roll it back. Yeah, Picard's watching a VHS tape of the episode he's in. That somebody's using a remote control, and yeah, it's Click, the TNG episode. But
so that just had to happen while they're standing there. Only one Romulan realized they were standing there.
That was I think that's the alien guy.
It is.
Alert.
Oh, that's not a big deal. Well, Brandon doesn't seem to remember much about this, so that might have been a spoiler for Brandon. But
No. I remember. I just think that at this point in the episode, when I first watched,
he's still
this
waiting
episode,
for yellow cake versus a chocolate cake.
Now,
Still
come
waiting.
He's still waiting for the Battle of
Still waiting
Hiroge.
for what's his name? Frasier.
Yes.
Don't
Kelsey
give me
Grammer.
that. I know that episode.
Morgan Bateson.
Yeah, Morgan Bates.
I know that episode.
I'm just messing
3.
with you, Brandon.
I know you are.
But yeah, somebody explain this. I also never understood exactly how you put how you contain antimatter.
This ramen wasn't here before.
Now, that was the thing I never understood either, because if antimatter is supposed to, like, if it hits matter and explodes, then how do you keep it together and it not explode? So I don't know that keeping a singularity together is any more or less viable than antimatter.
Geordi can really perform a seizure on camera.
Yeah, you can. There's a whole lot of acting going on in this episode for it not being a real heavy character piece.
Boy, that's
I
anecdotal
love how you guys are
evidence
so, like,
to-
roped into this episode that I'm, like, talking and asking questions and things, and you guys are like, shut up, I'm watching the show.
No, sorry, I apologize. I just engrossed by... She makes a big assumption to take that armband off Geordi, but I guess it makes sense in the end.
No, she explains why she does it. It's smart.
Oh, exactly, but...
She's like, if you slow down time, you won't die as fast. And then we can figure out what to do about it.
But we've seen what happens when they cross through the time barrier so suddenly, like it messes with Picard when he just gets a little taste of it.
Yeah, but
that was putting all of the person in it at once.
At once, yeah, so...
But no,
Not just his
real
hand.
fast, explain to me how you contain antimatter without it exploding.
It's
they have a warp
they have
core.
the in Star Trek they have
plastic,
magnetic containment fields.
plastic
That's how they
tubes.
contain the
Oh,
antimatter.
and so it kind of floats in space?
Yeah.
It
Okay.
floats inside the containers. It does. If it were to touch any of it, it would annihilate.
That's what I'm saying. I just
But
never
it-
understood
it's
that.
magnetic containment
Okay.
fields.
Well, that probably sounds like a dumb thing for me to not know, being the big Star Trek fan I am. But I never picked up on that.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll pull out my complete blueprints again of the Enterprise.
See, my
D.
eyes glaze over. I mean, I don't watch Star Trek for the tech stuff so much, but I just...
You're missing out.
You too, Brandon. I've decided you're missing out on the stuff I like that you probably also like. I don't
Hey,
know.
that's true, though. Mitosis. My doctor says Mylanta. No. That doesn't make any sense, but I just thought it sounded funny. This Romulan came to destroy things.
One of these Romulans is not like the others. It turns out this guy is actually a sphere builder, Adam. Does this guy's performance remind anybody of the aliens from Galaxy Quest?
Yes.
Thurians.
Oh
We
my
are
goodness.
Thurians with Quantum Nebula.
We are the Thurians!
We
Isn't that
need
the-
your help.
Isn't that the guy who was in Just Shoot Me as the photographer?
I do not remember that show.
I don't remember that show either.
Yeah, that guy in Galaxy Quest.
But good call, probably.
No, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Is the guy from
Actually, I know
Just
who you're
Shoot Me.
talking about now, but he was the dad on the Veronica Mars.
Oh, I never saw that
Yeah,
show.
so-
So we're on different
Yeah.
sides of a spectrum.
No, you put the three of us together, we know a lot of stuff.
Was that that's the same actor? I did not realize that.
And just for the record, we are planning on eventually doing Galaxy Quest. There will be a commentary on Galaxy Quest down the road.
That's a great movie. I remember I won that movie at a club meeting. It's so great.
You know, for like random contrived aliens show up and mess with our stuff, plots to like establish the situation in the first place. This isn't one of the worst of
This
them.
is the Star Trek equivalent of having mice make a nest in your engine block.
Oh
Well,
my goodness!
when you put it that way.
It kind of is, but how would we don't even know about
Power-
singular.
power
How would something
transfer.
exist inside a singularity? You have any ideas on that?
Well, you see, there's like this magnetic containment field. Brandon.
It's like the Tesseract in Interstellar.
Yeah, that thing. That made a lot of sense.
Boy, I wish we were playing a drinking game right now. Just take a drink every time Data says space-time continuum.
Bye.
Nice. He's phasing. Well, Crusher, where are you? To tell us this time.
Luckily, we've dealt with this before
Yes.
with Ensign Rowe.
Use that thing that, yeah.
We put an armband on him.
Put arm.
And there goes the alien. He was there, but for enough time to tell us what was going on.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, he got through his explanation in time.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
just in a nick of slowed down time.
You're right, though. I mean, that is just a DS9 runabout. It's nice
Why did
to...
they never ever show this though? It
It-
boggles my mind. They could have used this set again.
It's a beautiful
I mean,
craft.
are we told at some point that, like, the Enterprise is just carrying one of these now?
I don't
Or...
even know why they had it. Yeah, they never explained it, did they?
Well, it's probably...
I thought they were. No, they thought they said something. Picard said something in his log or something
Oh,
at the
okay, I missed
beginning.
that.
Like they're.
But they're probably just thinking, let's have a little bit more continuity between the two shows.
Yeah.
You know, like we've got the sets, we might as well use them, and it makes a certain amount of sense if runabouts were a new thing that the flagship of the Federation might get one.
Right.
But also, it's probably, for the sake of this particular episode, I mean, it's function over anything else, right? Where if we're going to be here this much, we don't want it to be I mean, even the larger shuttlecraft, we would feel real claustrophobic having to spend that much time here, even though there's only like 4 of us. That'd be, what is it? Like, there were only 4 of them.
Right.
Also take a drink every time somebody says power transfer.
That's right.
Well, there is a lot of tendababble.
I want something that emits delta band emissions. Can we make something that emits delta band emissions?
Why would you want it specifically to do that, Brandon?
Because they talk about delta band emissions.
No, I know. I heard that. I'm just saying.
That's why.
Do you even know what they are and what they are versus any other sort of
I could have
emissions?
an episode-specific tricorder. Say, look at my episode-specific tricorder.
Well, how many times do we solve problems, though, with a modified tricorder, right?
Oh, plenty. Like, it's the be-all tool of the future.
My favorite is the one in The Enemy, where we take Geordi's visor and we hook it up to the tricorder. And then he's like, they don't even speak the same language. Wait, except unless I did the thingy bomber thing, that I could connect them.
Yeah.
But I can't see.
Yeah. Yeah, why is that a part? So why don't you do it? I can't see.
So I've forgotten. Where's that female Romulan alien at this point?
Oh, yeah. We saw her.
And then doesn't she show up on the bridge later?
Adam's really insensitive. He's laughing at blind people.
Oh, boy.
What?
You were laughing at blind people.
I see we've made a good friend in you.
You did it first.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. And I think she's in
this
because
I was just quoting him.
No.
Yeah, that's a stunt right there.
Oh, no. She hit her head on that bulkhead. Did you see that? It appeared she hit her head.
I want to apologize to any blind people listening to this commentary.
Yeah.
Now, the 1-2 punch would be if we solve this with a tricorder and pulling Data's head off his body.
Yeah.
Transfer beam.
Wait, and how did you get here? Oh, never mind.
Naturally, yeah.
It's going to explode. I've seen the future. And now we get to see it all happen.
Oh, then that's how that happened.
And I love this. It's only 5 minutes before the episode's over that we finally get to see all this stuff come together.
So Romulans are somehow able to take
it.
right over the con, which they wouldn't know much about unless they were with the intelligence. Yeah, how did you just appear in front of me? That would be my first question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just changed the effects of the transport. It just looks different now. We just show up.
Yeah.
Next to phaser blast.
There's no glitter
right
or
moment.
nothing.
Just there.
Feedback can tear a ship apart. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens.
This is why they never show the runabout ever again. I forgot about
It's
that.
about to get destroyed.
It's a really good point. Oh, there, yep. And that's probably why they used that, too, because then they didn't have to... I mean, you know, you can blow up as many shuttles as you want to, I guess, but... See, we got it back to status quo. This ship's not supposed to have a runabout.
Yeah.
Power transfer. Take a shot.
So then
You didn't say continuum. I don't have to drink.
Yeah, where did the Romulans go?
Yeah.
I don't.
Boy, this whole episode is just a magic trick, Adam.
Their time continuum. Where'd they?
What?
What does that
They
mean?
came out of their time continuum?
I guess so.
I don't even remember that. Doesn't make any sense.
I guess yeah.
Yeah, I have to
but
say
you're not
you
gonna explain it to us.
Yeah.
So, thanks
Maybe
to the
we weren't
modified tricorder.
Maybe we weren't paying attention at the beginning and they explained it.
Well, I mean, remember, we're here to talk over the episode.
Yeah.
You're going to miss stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're taking them home, They got all the crew off the ship, but they went back to their own time frame?
Gee, he's got a pot of tea. I wonder where they're going with this.
Oh, this is one of my favorite lines in Data's Star Trek.
Data's Star Trek.
One of my favorite
It's
lines
the
of
Data
Data's
Show,
in
starring
Star
Data.
Trek.
Da 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 da.
In each case, the water has boiled at exactly.
That's one of your favorite Data lines?
Yes.
Okay.
That and lovely little
Like,
life form.
The moment I saw that, I immediately knew where we were going with this, right?
I like the spot, or I like the part where Data's a Spot on the couch, and he's just holding his arm like that, and Spot's just freaking out like...
What's your favorite Star Trek? I like Data Star Trek. Star Trek : Data into darkness.
No colon.
No colon. Well, no colon. Yeah.
This is Star Trek.
Star Trek. Data into darkness.
You know, this reminds me of another line, though, where Data's trying to capture the essence of a joke, and he tells Troy, but my timing is digital. Or, no, he's not telling Troy, he tells Guinan, my timing is digital.
Yeah.
My timing is analog and impeccable.
I do.
Well, kind of. We do.
Dude, don't say that and then ever show up anywhere late ever again, because people will so call you on that. They'll be like, what are you talking about, internal chronometer? He's like, no, I did that on purpose. Well, then what's wrong with you?
I turned it off. I don't like it.
Okay, this is kind of fun. I mean, I do like the end of this. I'm just saying, as soon as you see that kettle.
Yeah.
You know, you see a lot of Picard being Patrick Stewart. You see a lot of Data being Brent Spiner.
Yeah. That's good.
Indeed.
I always thought that was a really solid episode.
Yeah.
Definitely a
Definitely.
solid
Super
episode.
fun.
Yeah.
And pretty decent technical achievement for that season, but it would never have occurred to me that they spent a lot of their budget for the season on that episode.
I think they spent a lot. Yeah, I think it went
Wow.
over. If I'm remembering things correctly.
We may have Timescape to blame for why Descent wasn't bigger.
There's a name. Wait for it. There it is. Al Smutko.
Smutko!
I always noticed that.
That guy should start his own company just on principle.
And there was like a group of fans in the 80s, apparently.
What?
They called themselves the Al Smutko fan club.
That's awesome, just because his name
that
is
guy's
great.
name, yes.
Wow. Well,
Wow.
guys, thanks for being here with me
Absolutely.
to talk about this episode. See, these fly by.
Yes.
Right? You're like, oh, it's over already? All right. Well,
Like,
thanks
where's the time gone? We must have been an anomaly.
Thanks, everybody. Don't reach for that bowl of fruit!
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, it hurts!
Everybody, thanks as always. I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No.
Thanks always for listening to one of our commentary podcasts. And the three of us, I'm sure we'll come back with you later on for more Star Trek and more movie commentaries and things coming your way in the not-too-distant future. Thanks again for listening. I am Captain Logan.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Brandon.
And we'll see you next time.